before anyone comes at me, the only reason why I'm speaking on this is because I feel like I need to. I feel like I have something to say, so I'm going to say it. When it comes to the Charlie Kirk situation as a whole, because everybody still wants to paint conspiracies around different angles of how things go. And I think we all know that when you start talking about three-letter agencies, you start talking about who is really doing what behind the scenes, and they feel like that you are something to be used in their entire story. Because that's all it is a narrative that gets created to facilitate more things, to imprint people's subconscious with other subliminal messages and have that continue to forward itself over. So at this point, seeing that they're dragging on, spotlighting, even talking about his wife and all these other things is just a whole propaganda ploy. And whatever awards were just given out, I couldn't remember what it was. Yeah, talk about being prepared for something. I just saw there was some type of award thing going. Why is this person even there? Bro, when I look at some of this stuff, it literally is just like, man, it's not even real. It's just a movie. It just looks like a movie. That's all. It's like we've seen this in a movie before, which almost everything that has happened in the grand scheme of the narrative has happened in a movie. And then when all of this new stuff comes into light, like, this is all speaking my condolences to somebody losing their life regardless, by the way. It's just, if they want something to happen, then they'll just set up whatever circumstances possible. And we need to unwire ourselves from not just necessarily giving it attention, but I think if it's going to be in front of our face, the one thing that we all can do is be conscious enough to know how we are going to take it to something that's maybe more positive or in a different light, and shedding light on all of the lies that are embedded in what is trying to be put in our face. And there is a lot of it at the end of the day, that this isn't for the very clear reasons, and tracking all this stuff. And sometimes, it seems like even all of that was orchestrated. How much of this was all algorithmically based? How long has AI just been on top of all of this stuff? Why does that matter? Because at the end of the day, when things happen inside of the news, inside of the agenda and propaganda machine, they all do this to a T on what day, what time, when it happens, who's going to do it, how we're going to blame somebody, keep it in the media, create distractions, put somebody else on another pedestal related to the person. Whatever it comes down to is like everything is a part of the plan. It's all methodical. I think some people don't understand just how methodical and deep it is, because we're not paying attention enough to acknowledging that it's that deep. It is extremely deep. It's in astrology, in other deep areas. And I think the final thing I have to say on this is that it doesn't really matter what your opinion was on a person. When we see an event that makes people less empathetic about a person's existence alone, especially after something has happened to them drastically where they're clearly not here anymore, there is something deeply going on that people have to shed some light on at a subconscious level of how things have continued to be influenced and how we are influenced by everything going on, and being able to turn things around into a much more positive light. If we do not figure out how to bridge this gap, then the worst of the worst could start happening, and we're going to do nothing. It's going to be too late. And in a way, it might already be to some degree. I don't really know. It's hard to say that because we're fed a bunch of stuff instead of seeing what's actually going on. Who knows? But what I do know is that we need to remember that we are human. People need to be treated like human. And just because they are a human or were a human and did whatever they did, they still had people who cared about them. They had a family, and we need to not take that out of anybody's hands. And you take that out of their hands whenever we start saying that someone deserved whatever it is that they got. I mean, everybody has their own sentence. You come in and you leave, and you have your own terms for that. I'm not going to say anything about not or being deserving of something. What I'm saying is that this has a very clear message to it, and we should be paying attention to the message instead of getting caught up and all of the negativity, because that's exactly what they want.